Welcome aboard Tristan and Tommy's Runaway Railway. For your safety, please remain seated and enjoy the show. Welcome to Please Remain Seated, a theme park podcast hosted by two theme park enthusiasts that work for the industry in Orlando, Florida. Today we got a lot of Disneyland news and some Florida news as well, some cruise line news, and we have a very, very special guest, Morgan from the Just Some Magic podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. We just recorded an episode with her last week. We had so much fun. It is such an honor to have you here, Morgan. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I seriously appreciate it. And I really enjoyed having y'all on my podcast as well.
So much fun. I was telling you before we recorded that like one of the questions you asked us, spoiler alert, was like unpopular Disney opinions, and like I feel like I thought of like two or three more after we recorded, which I feel like that always happens whenever someone asks me a question like that. I always think of better stuff
Absolutely.
later. Tristan, how
Oh my
about
God.
you? Did you think of other stuff after we recorded that?
No, man, I've been brain dead. I've been training at a new job, so I'm like, man, my mind is all
So
over the
have I.
place.
My brain is.
Mm-hmm.
Look at us doing new jobs.
I know. Look at us moving up in the world. Who'd have thought?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
But no. So yeah, everyone's gonna have to go back and listen to that episode of Just Some Magic because as of the recording of this podcast, it comes out tomorrow. But when this episode comes out, it will have been out for a week. So
Yes.
go check it
Yes.
out.
Yes.
Just Some Magic podcast.
Of course, yeah. Just Some Magic. We share people's most magical moments in and out of the theme parks, and they each gave a really good story. And Tristan had a little mini magic that actually was like, oh my gosh. So again, you guys will have to listen to it. It was really fun, and we had great conversations before we even got to the magical moments. So that was really really fun. And Tommy, do you want to tell them what we discovered after we were done recording everything?
Yeah, so Tristan, I got to give credit to Tristan and Morgan for setting this up. But then after we were recording and just all talking to each other, becoming best friends, Morgan and I discovered that we went to the same high school together.
For at least
Like,
2 years.
like same little town. We just happened to. I
I
I was shook for like the rest of that night and like the next day or two. I think I was like, "What?"
Right. Oh my, it was wild. And like, my sibling was in your grade and you had a
Yeah,
sibling in my grade
yeah,
and we just like didn't like associate, and then we figured it
at
out, and
all.
then like check Facebook, so many mutual friends from that era. We're like, "Oh my gosh." So,
Yeah,
that was
uh,
pretty insert
ri-
it's a small world after all.
yeah, and a great big beautiful tomorrow or something.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Which
Tristan, did
speaking of Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
on you can go first.
I was just when I was editing our episode of just talking about the Carousel of Progress, and then just the armchair Imagineering of that last scene being, I'm like, man, they really should do that. They should, the last scene with the curtain should be another whole additional scene. So that was my idea. So yeah, that
You
was a
know,
good
and now
time.
that we're talking about that, the spiel that they do at the beginning of Carousel of Progress could be done on the outside.
Ooh.
Because like,
Yes.
if it's going to take, that long to load and unload and they have to do the little spiel from the Carousel Progress character, like maybe just have that playing on the outside before you go in type of thing.
They should. They have like that little movie now of like talking about the ride, but they should do that on the outside. I agree.
Yeah. But Tristan, have you had any life-changing revelations since we recorded?
Life-changing revelations? No, not
Yeah.
really, man. No,
Like you
I've
find
been,
any new high school people that you
man. I don't talk to the people I went to high school with. I don't talk to any of them. My best friends,
you
my
talk
like my three best friends. That's it.
you talking trash
Aw.
about me and Morgan right now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
valid.
we didn't know each other in high school,
Yeah. Yeah,
so
true.
there is that. And then, like you said, I don't really talk to high school people either.
Yeah.
So you're the only one I'm really talking to from high school, but I didn't know you in high school. So
Yeah.
because we had a pretty big school.
We did. Like
Hmm.
my graduating class, I think was like what 440 something.
Yeah, I was gonna say like around the 500s for
Yeah,
me.
4 to 500,
Yeah.
something like that.
Hmm. Wild, small world, and we
Yeah,
both like end up in Florida and love Disney, and here we are
what a time recording a
now becoming.
podcast with the handsome man Tristan.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. Well, yeah, crazy. I remember when I heard them discover that they went to high school together. I was sitting here like, what?
Oh yeah,
Like, what are the odds? Like, that's insane. But yeah, small world truly. But all right, we got some fun news from
yes.
the
What do we
theme
got,
park
Tristan?
universe. Well, first, Tommy, this is right up your alley. But Disney California Adventure Big Hero 6 Land opening late summer. That's coming right up. That's just a few months away.
Oh my god.
Tommy, what do you think about that?
You know, when Josh D'Amaro announced that at D23 back in September, I was so jealous of Disneyland because I am a huge Big Hero 6 fan. So the fact they're getting some sort of themed land or just area, that's so cool. Like it would be
Yeah.
cool if we could get something like that here because I think it's just going to be like the area is going to look like San Francisco with like the San Francisco Bridge. And then there's going to be a Baymax meet and greet in that area, and I want to say some sort of eating location as well. They're retheming the Pacific Wharf, I believe, is what it's called over at California Adventure to that. Um, that's so good for them.
I'm excited for that.
Oh
When
my-
I was what?
I'm so sorry. I just remembered in our intro, I forgot to mention how we're going to have two Passholder Karens, and then you're going to be reviewing a trip to Disneyland you recently took.
Oh yeah.
So, like,
Do you want
you
us
saw
to do
some of the
that now?
construction?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of the construction. They were already fully like drained that little lake area in front of it. There were construction walls around that main entrance, so you have to go through Cars Land in the back way to get into there at the moment, or at least 2 or 3 weeks ago when I was there. And they're moving fast. And when they say
Oh,
late summer, that could be
yeah,
August, that could be going into November. Like late
that
summer
is
is
pretty
a
wild.
I love when they say a season and we're like, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then it just gets pushed and we're like, okay, it's going to be this month. Nope. We pushed it. It's going to be another. So,
I mean, the fact that
yeah,
they just announced something in September and it's going to be ready by this summer, though, like that's different for Disney.
that's a big turnaround, a quick turnaround.
Yeah, and like I know it's not like a ride, but it's still like quick for Disney.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah, for
excited.
sure. I mean, you would think it would take 8 years for them to do, but I'm reading right here. As of 3 days ago, the bridge is at like the San Francisco Bridge is actually open for guest traffic again, even though it's still under
Oh,
construction. So it looks nothing like what it's going to, but it is
okay.
open again after a little bit of a construction
Interesting.
closure there.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, cool stuff there. I know Tommy. When I saw that, I was like, man, we're bringing that up on the podcast. Tommy loves that.
Oh yeah.
Staying in California, Disneyland Hotel's new DVC Tower opening September 28th. That's kind of cool. Adding a new anything hotel related at Disneyland is cool because there's so few of them over there compared to
Yeah.
what we have over here in Florida.
Right.
So yeah, 12 stories it's going to be. Rooms themed after Jungle Book, Sleeping Beauty, Princess and the Frog, Fantasia, and a 2-story grand villa themed after Bambi, Frozen, and Moana. So
I love the mix of the classic Disney movies and the modern ones in there.
Mm-hmm.
Because like Jungle Book, Bambi, absolutely adore those movies. Fantasia, love that. Then also
Sleeping Beauty.
Princess and the Frog, Frozen, Sleeping Beauty.
I want to sleep in the Sleeping Beauty room.
mhm.
Yeah.
You're definitely
And
going to have to go out there and request that.
Just be like,
yeah.
hi, first off, can someone pay for it for me? Because it's probably going to be very expensive, or
Yeah.
borrow the DVC points. And then, oh my gosh, that'd be so cool. But yeah, I'm excited to see, like you said, with the balance and stuff, Bambi. Like, I want to just see
Yeah.
what they create with that. You know, it's not the most flashy IP, but like, I bet they could do some
Yeah.
really cool stuff. So
It's like good, happy to see Bambi getting some love.
I know
Very cool.
it's such a charming little movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm excited that they're doing stuff like that. They're adding the theming to the rooms. I remember actually I was really bummed because I think they are taking the pirate rooms out or already have of Caribbean Beach, which I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you take that out? Come
Those
on.
are so cool. What the heck?
I
Those
never got
are
to stay in one, but they look so cool.
Yeah.
ah, I was able to do a resort showcase, and that was one of the rooms, and I really enjoyed the theming of it. Like the fridge was in a barrel, and you had to like open the barrel, and it was so cool. And like there was
That's
a
so
sword.
cool.
It was so cool. Like I love good theming, even if it's like something I'm not totally interested in.
I
Like
want a barrel refrigerator.
I know. And I really appreciated it and all the detail. And then that's really sad that they're getting rid of it. Like, sometimes you see on these like crazy like travel TV shows, there's like, you're sleeping in like a Mercedes or something, like an old like vintage car, and like the bed's like, I love a kitschy theme like that. So like it's sad that they're getting rid of
You
that.
know, I'm totally with you on I don't care if I'm into the theme as long as it's good. Because I can think of so
Right.
many things that I've seen and experienced in parks where, for example, like Pandora World of Avatar, like I actually never saw the movies or even cared to see them. I eventually did see them and liked them, but like before that, I didn't care for it. But the land and Flight of Passage, amazing. Jurassic
Yes.
World, I could not care less about, but Velocicoaster is incredible. Harry Potter, I'm not the biggest fan of, but the lands and the rides over there at Universal, just like,
Mhm.
if you can create a really good land or hotel room with whatever theme, it's beautiful.
Yes, I think we're all just craving immersion and getting escaping reality. So I think
Oh
that's
yeah.
what it truly boils down to for sure. But it's really sad, and like I'll notice that during on the resort showcase, like we got to see a lot of different rooms that they just refurbished or this, and they're all becoming the same old like this with a Murphy bed that's also a
Oh my
table during the
god.
day if you want it, and then like a picture of a Disney character. And it's like that's not fun.
Yeah.
It's not fun. And then that goes into like not just the value, but like the moderate and like all the other ones. And it's like, I
Yeah.
want something more whimsical, you know?
Yeah. It's like there's been like recently at the Disney World resorts, there's been some de-theming, if you will. I know like
Mm,
some stuff happened at the boardwalk at like I want to say their coffee shop and like lobby. Like some things are looking more generic, and I think people are a little worried
mm.
because they're doing a little refurb on the Grand Lobby right now, and I think a lot of people are worried after seeing what they did to the boardwalk. Like
Mm.
because the Grand is gorgeous.
The
Like yeah, it
grand.
looked old. Yeah, yeah. You can't mess up the Grand.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, speaking
Crazy,
of the
crazy.
boardwalk, here's a fun fact about that. So yeah, they did a lot of retheming. If you guys have ever seen the creepy clown slide that used to be at the boardwalk, you'd come out of the clown's
Mm-hmm.
mouth when you
Yeah.
came out the slide. They changed that, so it's not a creepy clown anymore. But
Mm.
they added all like the new version of the Disney characters, like from the Mickey shorts that look like they're all cracked out. And
More so
there's like a
goofy than
mural.
anything. He looks like a homeless man.
Oh yeah.
Goofy's messed up, man. I don't know what they did, but
Goofy.
on that mural,
Gorsh.
all the characters like going down water slides and playing at the pool, every single one of them is breaking a pool rule.
What? I
Which
I need to
for the
see.
lifeguard people over there, that it's messing things up. But
Like, well, Mickey's doing it. Why can't I?
yeah,
Oh my god.
exactly. But and in other resorts retheming news, well, this isn't really new, but the Contemporary now has all those Incredibles themed rooms,
Yeah.
and there's been some headlines lately on all the theme park news sites about like, do you really want to pay $900 a night to stay in this kind of a blandly decorated room?
Right, right.
However, I will say they're more decorated than they were before. But still, like
Okay.
you're paying too much to stay at the Contemporary, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah. The Contemporary, you're paying for the location.
Yeah.
That is what you're
Mhm.
paying for.
I
And
will
walking to
say if
Steakhouse 71.
I will say, talking like if they had to put an IP in the Contemporary, I do think that The Incredibles was appropriate, but they didn't need to put yeah. Not
Yeah.
no no no
Yeah.
no 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 no.
I don't know, man. See, I'm over here. Disney's just like in this phase right now of bringing things back. Oh, you guys like Happily Ever After? Bring it back. Epcot Forever? Bring it back. When
Yeah,
are they going to
boy.
rebuild the Great Movie Ride? I don't understand.
Right?
They're bringing everything back. Dude, people
I
would
don't think they
freak.
would do that. Sadly, it's
I
as
would
sad as it
freak
would
out.
be.
They're gonna, man. Well, here's what I think they should do. You know how that building, what is it? It's an animation courtyard at Hollywood Studios, and it used to be the Star Wars launch bay, but now I don't believe they use it for anything. Level that whole thing down. Rebuild the Great Movie Ride. Problem solved. Next news story: Disney Cruise Line.
Even if
Disney
they put even if they did put different movies in it, that would still be really cool. Like old and newer ones, like they could do a lot with that. Like it doesn't have to be, I was about to say Alice in Wonderland. It didn't have to be a Wizard of Oz. Like, they could do a lot of cool stuff. But anyway,
They really
next.
could. They could make it go from old to new, like still have classic
Oh
film,
yeah,
because at this point there are classic Disney films out there from like the, well, excluding the animated movies, like from the 50s going forward. They could start with like Mary Poppins or something and work its way to present day. But that's just ramblings of a crazy person. Disney Cruise Line, Lighthouse Point, opening summer of 2024. That's a big deal. I'm a Disney Cruise Line fanatic, so it's really cool that they're adding a second port of call that is operated by Disney. 90% of the property's electricity will come from an on-site solar panel. The pier was built with methods to avoid dredging, and elevated walkways limit the impact on the environment. The property will feature a family beach, an adult beach, market-style dining, an event space featuring local artists, a splash pad with 2 slides, and other various recreational activities. So a lot of those amenities that I just listed off are already on Castaway Cay. I'm sure these will be nice new modern versions of them. The thing that's new, I believe, is the market-style dining and an event space featuring local artists. That'll be really cool.
that's really cool.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that, and that's going to be more feasible to put on Lighthouse Point, because it's part of a much larger island that has other towns on it. So having locals be there, it will be a lot more feasible than shipping them to Castaway Cay, which is truly a small island. So I'm excited to see that in the next 15 years or whenever, when I can afford to go there. I'm sure the cruises that go there will be through the roof expensive.
Yeah. It's like one thing that I really do like about going on cruises is traveling to different places, and I've noticed a lot of cruise lines have been making their own islands, which, like, they have fun activities, but you're not really immersing yourself in a different culture. So at least adding a local artist portion, that kind of goes into that. And actually, even everything you said before that, it sounds like Disney really thought about everything. Like you said, there's a kids area, there's an adults only area. I think that's really cool that they thought about a bunch of different things for that. I haven't been on a Disney cruise since I was 5, so I feel like I've never been on one, but I love cruises in general, and I've known a lot of people that have gone on them recently. So like and everyone raves about them that I know that's been on one. So I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to go on one soon.
Yes. Morgan,
Yes.
Morgan, you've never been on a Disney cruise, have you?
No, I would love to. I've only been on 2 cruises in my lifetime. One at 17 years old, and then one this past September. I won't say my age, but it's been a long time since I was 17. And I gotta say, like, cruises are amazing. Like, especially going from like a Disney trip, even though like we could know everything that's going on and be veteran park goers as often as we are, it's just so relaxing to go on
Oh
like
yeah.
a cruise and just kind of go wherever the wind takes you. If you're feeling pizza at 2 a.m., there's pizza. If you want to do a show, if you want to do trivia, if you want to go dancing, like pool, like it's just so cool. And like you said, Tommy, with the whole like every cruise has their island thing, like I definitely felt that too. And I did a Royal Caribbean cruise, and it was really, really fun. There was like a little water park area that you could pay more. There's other excursions and a bunch of other free stuff to do. But it was like, this is cool, but like I'm not surrounded by local culture at all. So
Yep.
yeah.
Like last cruise I went on, we went to Grand Cayman Islands and Cozumel, Mexico, and I did an excursion that involved like exploring like Mayan ruins, and like that was really cool.
How long was that excursion, Tommy?
I don't remember, honestly.
Because they offer that through Disney, and I want to say it's like 5 hours. Like it's the whole time you're on
Oh,
Cozumel.
wow.
Yeah.
Like I was gonna say, so the excursion I did, it was like a combo excursion where part of it was Mayan ruins, part of it was snorkeling. Remember the
Cool.
tequila tasting at the end.
Ooh.
Well, if you remember it, it must not have been very good.
You know, I had a fun time, Tristiano. So
Tristiano. Cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see that. Like I said, anything with cruise line excites me. We're gonna do the podcast cruise. We're gonna get that going, and we're gonna all
heck yeah.
save up $6,000 and take a 3-night cruise.
Yes.
All right, new nighttime spectacular coming to Epcot, fall of 2023. That's fall of this year, folks. It's coming. Harmonious will be saying goodbye here pretty soon. Tommy, do you know the date for Harmonious leaving?
Yes, so both both Disney Enchantment and Harmonious have their last performances on April 2nd, and then
Oh,
the
that's
next day, Happily Ever After and Epcot Forever return. But Epcot Forever, just like it was before, is only going to be temporary for whatever show they're going to be debuting at Epcot. Epcot is going to be Disney World's hub for the Disney 100 celebration, and they haven't revealed much information or even a name for the new spectacular, but all they said was the show will feature an original composition and evocative selections from the Disney songbook, all woven together to remind us that we are more alike than different. So it sounds like a very Epcot show, but it sounds like they are going to like have some Disney songs as well as some original music as well, kind of mixed in. So I'm kind of curious. And then also the artwork they have, it's like it has like a heart, like I like lighting slash firework. Like it looks really cool. Like I'm curious how it's gonna pan out. I personally love every nighttime spectacular I've ever seen in Epcot. Illuminations, Epcot Forever, I even loved, and Harmonious, all beautiful. So I'm sure this new one they're doing for the Disney 100 is going to be amazing.
Yeah, I'm excited. Oh, we always welcome a new show, especially after Harmonious, which I liked Harmonious. Just those barges were hideous.
Now I was just gonna say, like, yeah, during the day they were a bit of a bummer, but it was like visually at night when they were doing what they were supposed to looked really pretty. But I do miss entering the World Showcase and just seeing Germany, Italy, Japan from the other side without those ugly things in the middle of the day.
Right. And then also that portal in the middle, and you're a Big
Yeah.
Hero 6 fan, Baymax fan. It looks like it came from Big Hero 6. I'm like, yo, we're gonna get warped back into something.
How did I never make the Big Hero 6 connection with that?
You
'Cause
did
you're
it?
stupid.
We didn't even.
Because I am
Aw.
the old white guys that just said it looked like the Stargate portal, so that's how I always thought of it.
Oh, no. It reminded me of Baymax immediately. I just haven't seen that movie
Or
in so long, I forgot the technical term of it.
yeah, me too. Or like I think when the Harmonious Barge was like first put into the World Showcase, I saw a meme that was like it was like Thor from Infinity War when he was like trying to create the Stormbreaker.
Yo, the
Like he
ring
was in that.
thing.
Yeah.
Like the heart of a star or
Yeah.
something. Oh, I feel like a bad Marvel fan right now. Oh.
Yeah, me too. I couldn't name the thing either, so we're chilling.
Well, can you say Thor's hammer's name?
Mjolnir. Right? Did I pronounce that right? Mjolnir.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
you did. I remember there being this is a side conversation, but
No, you're
I
good.
remember there being like an interview with like the cast of Infinity War, and they're like, "Can you pronounce Thor's hammer's name?" And everybody struggled, and then Ant-Man, Paul Rudd just goes, "Jonathan?"
Jonathan.
So now I just call it
Paul
Jonathan
Rudd.
whenever.
I love Paul Rudd.
Jonathan.
Jonathan. I got a little Jonathan bottle opener right here.
Oh, I mean, naturally, yes. I've seen a Mjolnir meat tenderizer before, and I'm like, brilliant. It's probably a Box Lunch or Hot Topic or one of those like fandom stores.
No, it's on my wish list now.
You're like, Christmas 2023.
Speaking of Christmas 2023, Tristan, what's the next news story?
It has nothing to do with Christmas, but
I was gonna say, wait a minute.
Yeah, we don't have any Christmas news stories this week.
I would like to confirm that the Mjolnir meat tenderizer is on Box Lunch for $27.
That's not even bad.
Iconic.
So,
I
Honestly,
love Tristan
Tommy.
with the fact check. Love it.
Oh yeah, I started pulling up right away. I want to know.
It's like I'll be blasting Immigrant Song and just.
Next piece of news here, staying in the Disney realm. Walt Disney Imagineering's Bruce Vaughn stepping back in as an Imagineering executive. Gonna be completely honest, didn't know he left. I knew of him from watching a lot of the TV specials and stuff, and the show that I always rave about on Disney Plus. What's it called? The Imagineering Story. If you have not watched that, watch it.
Yeah.
I put it on when I'm bored. I've watched it like 7 times. It's so good. But anyway, yeah, stepping back in as an Imagineering executive, which I'm happy about because Imagineering was shaken up a little bit under previous management. So it's nice that someone from the olden times is coming back. It makes me hopeful that things will be great again. Maybe great again isn't the right term there, but it'll be good. And so, I mean, I guess it's a good thing. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see what happens, but there definitely is signs of hope with that. Walt Disney News today actually did a really good piece about it, how he was like in a really good era for Imagineering, and then he ended up leaving around the time Bob Chapek took over head of parks, like what Josh D'Amaro is right now. And Chapek was, infamous for, doing all the penny pinching, like charging for resort parking and like budget cutting a lot of like Imagineering projects like Galaxy's Edge and Pandora. And kind of Chapek, Chapstick.
Chapstick, yes.
Bob Chapstick. But yeah, and then also since Chapstick became CEO, he made some other moves in Imagineering, like aside from demoralizing them creatively, like putting certain people in charge that like weren't exactly creative types. Like the current president has only been with Imagineering for a year and a half, and before that was like working with like industrial architecture for like 17 years, which like, isn't terrible experience to have, but like Imagineering is more than just architecture. It's a whole other specialized skill, and you really need to understand like a real like a certain creativity with it. So having oh my god, I'm sorry, I'm totally blanking out on his name.
Bruce Vaughn.
Bruce Vaughn. I'm a terrible Disney fan. Bruce Vaughn. Yeah. Having Bruce Vaughn back is like kind of a good sign of hope for Imagineering going forward. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully we see some good things with future projects that haven't even been fully announced yet.
And having friends who were Imagineers, and let me specify, were Imagineers,
Okay.
they were put into roles, and like during COVID, there was a big, like you said, a shakeup, and they were doing multiple people's jobs, including their own, and so that definitely not only gives a pressure on you, but limits your creativity and the time you can to be creative. And I think just let them, and you can see that in the parks for the last handful of years, just seeing what they've produced, and it really takes a toll, and it's very noticeable, especially for constant park goers that are the true fans that listen to all the news updates and listen to D23 if we can't go, and we're always looking for those things, and we notice when there's been budget cuts, or we hear rumors and rumblings of this was going to be at Galaxy's Edge, but because of budget cuts they took away those. And so I think that this is really good, and I'm just let the creatives be creative, let them do their job. You can't put a price on imagination, so put that on a t-shirt.
Right. And I mean, like we were discussing earlier in this episode, like the de-theming, if you will, at resorts. And then like, you can kind of see it with like modern projects, like show buildings for newer attractions are a lot more visible than they normally would be. Sight lines, which I can go on a whole thing on that. I'd rather not. But
well, in regards to bringing things back, like we were just talking about, we're bringing back Bruce Vaughn. I just, for the heck of it, Googled Joe Rohde to see what he's up to since leaving Disney.
Yeah.
Other than sticking more things in his ear hole, he left Disney to become an experience architect for Virgin Galactic, which is Richard Branson's space tourism company, which hasn't done much yet. And I haven't been able to find anything other than in February of 2021 or 2022, maybe, Joe Rohde left to join Virgin Galactic, Well, it doesn't sound like that's going anywhere. So bring him back.
Right.
Interesting.
And notice how when Joe Rody left, he was retired. And for those audio listeners, I say that in quotations, but yet he's going right back to work. So it wasn't
Yeah.
a retirement. It was Disney can't afford to pay me. I'm getting forced to retire. And now he's doing epic things over
Yeah.
somewhere else. And they're utilizing and paying for his talent because they see the value in him. So sorry, Disney. Like, you had a good one and you lost it, you know?
Which actually, speaking of Joe Rody leaving, I don't know if y'all ever remembered, but like anytime anybody asked him when's Zootopia coming to Animal Kingdom, he would say Zootopia doesn't belong here. Zootopia's a human story with animals as proxies for humans. It has nothing to do with animals' nature or humans' connection to it. Then the second he retires, D23, blue sky idea, Zootopia to replace Dino Land. Which, like, I'm not saying Dino Land doesn't need love, because it definitely needs some love, but like potentially replacing a land that's like a pillar of Animal Kingdom, Animal Kingdom about the animals of the past, present, and mythical. If they completely get rid of that for an IP that specifically was not meant to be an Animal Kingdom after that lead Imagineer leaves, it's like, it's not official. It was blue sky, but still.
I think Dino Land needs some loves from a bulldozer, but
leave Dinosaur though.
Yeah, Dinosaur can stay.
Okay. But yeah.
Don't touch Dr. Seeker.
I don't care about Dr. Seeker. He can get killed by an asteroid for all I care.
What about Dr. Jones?
You talking about Indiana Jones?
Yeah, moving Indiana Jones into Dinosaur because the track is the same.
There was a rumor years ago. I'm not 100% sure how far it got, but there's a rumor that Dino Land was going to become South America because, like, it would fit, like, aesthetically with the park. It would add another continent. The animals would be pretty easy for Disney to get, and then also they'd be able to turn Dinosaur into Indiana Jones.
I would be very happy to see that. I think that would be very cool.
Would be very cool.
Have you guys been on Indiana Jones?
I have. I love Indiana Jones.
Yeah, love it.
Because my backstory was I did Dinosaur first before ever going to Disney World or Disneyland. I'm sorry, and I love Dinosaur. I'm like, this is my favorite ride. It's got thrill, but story, and it's a dark ride, and this. And then I go to Disneyland and I go to Indiana Jones the first. I'm like, this is so much better. This is incredible. Like, I love this one more. Mind you, I still enjoy Dinosaur, but now that I've been on Indiana Jones, it's like, well, it's hard to go back.
Which I'm like, slightly off topic. Didn't you mention when we were talking last week that you went to Tokyo Disneyland?
I did, yes.
Did you get to ride Journey to the Center of the Earth? I hate you.
Yes, I did.
Because, like, I know, like, that's, like, a similar ride system to Test Track, and that's, like, same manufacturer as, like, the Dinosaur. Like, it's a similar ride system. So, I'm jealous of you.
All I'll say is the animatronic in there is ginormous.
Yeah, I have seen videos of it.
Oh, it is terrifying. But also too, like, talking about Indiana Jones, their Indiana Jones, just their whole park, you can tell that they don't take shortcuts. All the effects over there, even just Disneyland Indiana Jones and Tokyo Indiana Jones, side by side, basically the same ride, but the effects are so much more like present and like cool, and they take care of their ride. They take pride in their park.
Can we just have the Oriental Land Company take over Disney World as well?
I know,
like, how
right?
feasible?
Just take over all of it. Us Americans are asking for it.
Please. It's the most visited theme park destination in the entire world, yet we're shafted. But Tristan, what was our next story?
Stepping out of Disney, going to Universal for a bit. Universal Parks and Resorts being renamed Universal Destinations and Experiences. I think that's interesting because, I think they're kind of following what Disney has been doing for a long time with offering a lot more types of products than simply theme parks and movies. So I'm curious to know what exactly is going to come from that in the future, other than the two things we already know about, which is the children's park that's going to Frisco, Texas, and the year-round Halloween Horror Nights that's going to Las Vegas. I guess it makes sense to rename it considering you do have those presences now in Texas and
Yeah.
Vegas that aren't exactly theme parks.
Mhm.
But I'm just curious, are you going to get a Universal Cruise Line coming up? What are we going to
Yeah.
do? So,
Or Universal Resort of some kind. A Harry
yeah.
Potter resort, honestly.
Mm,
It's like
Oh.
I mean, they do, because I mean Disney does have their resorts that, aren't attached to any parks. Like there's the one in Hawaii. I think there's one in South Carolina too.
yeah, Hilton Head.
Like
Mhm, mhm.
kind
Yep.
of random. But like I mean, Universal could probably do something if they throw in the right stuff.
Right, I agree. And I remember making this point last week is, Universal was always like, Disney was the parent and they were, respectful and like this. And Universal was always like the cool uncle, that was always
Me.
fun. Yeah. And like, always cool to hang out with. But like, you always go to your parents. And so now I think, and I said this last week, like with the name change, I feel like they're more cool uncle got a grown up job, but still real fun, Like I feel like
Yeah.
they're just holding themselves to a higher esteem. And I think it's very appropriate for them. And I'm only excited for the future. And I think I said this last week too. We're at the perfect age as young adults to be around during this really great competition of theme parks just trying to constantly outdo each other. We're just sitting back reaping all the benefits of awesome theme park, but also like figure out your prices and like pay your employees better. But when it comes to new rides and
Oh yeah.
inventions in technology and customer experience, I think it is much, much better. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited for the future of Universal. Like the name change shows that they are looking to branch out and potentially do different things. And, with the direction they've been going in, like you said, like they've been really stepping up their game with guest experience. Like the last, like they opened what, Hagrid's and Velocicoaster within a 2-year span, and now they're opening up a new theme park in less than 2.5 years, and like they're chugging right along. Like it's like I see the construction updates all the time, and like it's looking really good.
And how
Like
long did it take them to build Tron?
6 years, and it's going to take less than that to build Epic Universe. I mean, last year Epic Universe was a pile of dirt, and now like they already have like show buildings and a lot of track up. Like I think they even have a family coaster that's like almost complete, if not complete, at least track wise. Like they still have to do a lot of the theming and everything, but like they even have an off-site hotel that's like outer shell or whatever. Like they're trucking right along. It's looking really good. No, like it was like one of the hotels, like not the one that's going to be connected to Epic Universe, but one that's going to be like kind of across the street. Like they have like almost the entire building built. It's just like not pretty yet. Like it'll look pretty, I think. Destinations experience, like Tristan said, they got the kiddie park, the horror nights year round. What else are they gonna do? I'm curious.
I know. Who
Can I make
knows?
like a slight confession?
No.
Yes.
Yo, no, yes.
What if we
Okay.
both said no? Like, next.
I'd be like, all right, I'll save it for my show then. No, every all of us young adults are like, I want to go to the Halloween Horror Nights. That's gonna be year round, like absolutely. But I'm like, if I'm already going on a trip to Halloween Horror Nights all the way in Vegas, and we're coming from the East Coast, like low key might go check out the little Texas kiddie park. I don't even care if I don't have children. But like I would want to go see it just to see what they created. Like if I'm doing that, if they're both created around the same time, I kind of want to see both. So I
Oh
might
yeah.
like in another confession. So I was with a child and we were in the Curious George area or whatever. I did not know that there is a whole building back there with this huge ball pit kind of thing, but there's two
Right?
levels and you can like shoot the balls into this thing and you can collect them and then they do cool like honestly we spent so much time back there and like I was participating and like trying to help him collect all of these like you know balls or whatever these foam balls to get it into this thing. I don't know, it was just so much fun and I was like, oh, man, kids
It
areas are so underrated.
really is like a very hidden gem back there. Like I don't know if it's gonna be coming back whenever they reopen the reimagining they're doing over there. I think
Right.
because they haven't even officially announced what it's going to be. The construction walls do have DreamWorks characters on it, So we imagine it's gonna be some sort of DreamWorks land. But I don't know
Mhm.
if that ball pit's coming back, sadly. And it's just like kind of on its own back there doing its thing. And like if you know it's there, you know it's there. Because I didn't even know it was a thing. Like I think I came across a random TikTok about it, and one day me and my girlfriend just like went over for the heck of it.
Mhm.
And it's just like kind of dead back there. It's kind of cool.
It is cool, and it's shaded, like, it does get a little humid and mucky under there, but it's still I hope they keep it
Yeah,
because that was probably really fun. Maybe
yeah,
retheme it, of course, but it was
yeah.
cute, very cute.
Like Shrek something, or I can't
Right,
think of any
collecting
other
all the
universe. Yeah,
villagers for, oh my gosh, what Lord Farquaad, all the fairy
yeah.
tale characters.
So, for our next segment here is where we do our theme park ride and review. We're going to throw the microphone over to Morgan, who took a recent trip to Disneyland and California Adventure and saw some very exciting new things over there. So, Morgan, tell us all about it.
Yes. So I was very fortunate to take a very special trip. So the reason why I took this trip at the time that I did is because right before COVID, they announced the Magic Happens parade, and Aurora, we kind of mentioned briefly earlier, she is my favorite character, and they were going to have her dress be pink and blue during the day. And I'm like, how are they going to do this without lights? So I knew I wanted to see it back in 2020, made the trek out from Florida to California, and it was so incredible. And a lot of my Disney World friends had made the trek over the same weekend, and then my Disneyland friends got to meet my Disney World friends, and it was such a great weekend that we had. 2 weeks later, COVID hits, the world shuts down, the whole 9 yards. So the parade has not been back since in 3 years. And so when they announced it was coming back, me and all my Disney World friends were like, we have to go again. We have to. So we made the trip out. We were there opening weekend, and 3 years later, and we saw the parade, but it was raining and very cold almost every single day. Like, the parade at Disneyland, it comes twice a day versus at Disney World, it's only once a day. And we didn't see it till the third day we were there, third or fourth day. We were only there 5 days, and we just had such a great time. The parade was beautiful, like, and sadly, the Tiana float, which is absolutely stunning, was not working that day. It broke
Mhm.
down for a bit, but I've seen videos since, and it's gone back up. But such a good parade. If you guys haven't seen it, highly recommend. But one of the things I haven't seen, since I haven't been to Disneyland since COVID, I got to see the updated Snow White ride, which looks so good. It is not scary anymore. Thank goodness. Like, riding that ride at night as an adult by yourself, like, say your friends went in the car ahead of you and you're just like, "I'll just ride by myself." A little scary, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's a little creepy. But the new effects on the Snow White ride are beautiful. The ending is so sweet and happy, so
That's
highly
good.
recommend going checking that out. I do miss the storybook with the gold apple in the front that you can touch, and then the evil queen's cackle will come on, or I'm sorry, the evil hag, I should say, the old hag. Very, very big difference. But then one of the really cool things, and I know, Tommy, you're a huge Marvel fan as well, Avengers Campus.
Oh
Ah!
gosh, I'm
It
so
was the
jealous.
first it was I it is everything you want and more. Obviously, there's only one ride at the moment, and eventually there'll be an e-ticket attraction, later on at the Avengers headquarters building. But, that very first day we were there, I ran into an old friend who, like I said, was an Imagineer, and he worked a ton on Avengers Campus. And so the first time I was over there, my Disney World friends wanted to stay on the Disneyland side, and I was like, well, this is the only opportunity I'm going to get a personal tour of Avengers Campus and everything he's worked on. So I'm going to go over now. And so it was just him and I, and he was pointing out all the cool things. So one of which I bet a lot of people have seen is there's 3 trees along this wall, and there are water spouts for when, or water drains, rain drains, I don't know what they're called, but it says like gamma radiation. There's like neon green and stuff. So the tree on the far right and the tree on the far left look like normal trees, but the tree that's in between those spouts is huge and green and bubbles and like gigantic. So just because it's been affected by the Hulk's gamma ray ooze or goo, whatever it is, it was so cool. Another thing was over by the stroller area, there is a motorcycle parking for Peggy Carter. For those that haven't seen, um, Captain America's love interest throughout the series, that's her parking spot. And he just pointed out so much stuff and all the work that went into it, and even just the Doctor Strange area. How if you really look closely on that back wall, there's like stairs in the back that would have led up to the second story, but because of the time stone, which is the green stone's explosion, it kind of got destroyed as like the sanctum. And it's just, there's just so much detail and it's so incredibly cool. And I just had the best time over there. Another thing I love are the meet and greets there at Disneyland, just across the board, are so incredible. But the amount of like Avengers characters that came out probably every 5 minutes was a new one. And like it was always, it felt like a working Avengers campus where, hey, they're looking for new recruits, they're meeting new people. One of the last nights we were there, Kang was there, who is the new big baddie in the newest Ant-Man movies. Yes.
I'm
Have you
so
seen the new?
jealous. Yeah. And then
Oh.
like also when he was introduced in Loki, like
Mhm. Mhm.
I
Y
am so
Jo
excited for his future appearances.
Yes, and Jonathan Majors does a
God,
phenomenal job, and whoever
so
they
good.
casted in the parks looked spot on. I'll have to send you a video, but a friend
Uh,
and I were talking to Kang, and he was like, "You'll, help me to, like," I forgot what he said. He's like, "You'll make sure that the Avengers don't get in my way." And I said, "Absolutely, no problem. We'll distract them with meet and greets and pictures and autographs, and we'll report back to you." He goes, "Oh, good. You already know where your loyalties lie." And I was like, "Oh my god. Oh my
that's
god.
so
Oh my
cool.
god." I was, like,
I'd have fun with that
freaking
too.
out. And then, the night we left, so we had a red eye, on the very last night, and they brought Cassie Lang out, so Ant-Man's daughter, and she came out in her purple, I don't, it's not a spider an Ant-Man suit. She came out in her own suit with her purple Converse, and I was like, "Oh, we just missed her." But she looked great. I think at the time of this recording, I think she's done meeting at the parks, but just looked wonderful, and I loved, the interactions with Ant-Man, like introducing Cassie to Captain America, which he's always cheesing out, like, hi, Captain America, like, this is my daughter," and she's like, "Hi, Mr. Rogers," and I'm like, "Oh my god, like
That's
they're so
wonderful.
cute." And Cassie goes like, "Oh yeah, my dad has a picture of you, a poster of you in his bedroom," and Ant-Man's like, "You're not supposed to tell him that, Cassie," and it's like, oh my god, I can't. It's wonderful. Um, but then there's the sticking on Ant-Man, there's the Ant-Man Pym's Test Kitchen. And that was so cool. Even if you do not order anything, it is so cool to go in there and watch the pretzels getting like smaller and bigger. And then going over to the soda area, you just see giant soda cans above with like a tube like coming from the soda can into where the drink machines are, and everything is just so cool, incredibly detailed in there. And I did get a breakfast one morning, and I got this giant French toast like brick. Like it was so good, with like tiny little orange and a tiny little egg with a tiny little fork and like a test tube of syrup. And it was like the coolest thing ever. And it was very
I
good.
want
Highly
tiny
recommend the
food.
breakfast. I know, it was I'm like, I have a video. I'm like, how is this so small? I love it. Like they're really taking cost cutting measures, but it's on theme. Speaking of food, the shawarma station is phenomenal. If you've seen the first Avengers, they all go and get shawarma, and there's two shawarma stations, one near the old Hyperion Theater and one near the center of Avengers Campus. Either one is great. Highly recommend. And just like the overall experience, like let me just like list all the characters. So we saw Ant-Man, Kang, Wasp, Doctor Strange, Captain America, Falcon Captain America, or Sam Wilson, Loki, Thor, Black Widow, Black Panther, Iron Man, which my name's Morgan Stark on Instagram. And when I saw Iron Man, I lost my mind. I was like, "Oh my gosh,
Oh
dad!"
God.
And it was so cool meeting him. Like, I was honestly the first time I met him, because I ended up meeting him twice, I was like starstruck. I didn't know what to say, and I was just like, because like he used to never meet, and so it was so cool. We saw the Dora Milaje, we saw Taskmaster and Black Widow and Black Panther fight them. Up at the top, we saw Spider Man naturally, and that Stunttronic. Chef's kiss. It is
Yeah.
incredible. Like, you literally, videos do not do it justice. You have to go see it in person. Um and and I feel like it was just so many, and I just, if you're a Marvel fan and you love meeting characters, highly highly recommend. Last thing I'll say about Avengers Campus, the Spider-Man ride. The first time I did it, I was on, there's two sides and we had a party of five. So me and my friend that have never done it were on one side, and then my friend with her sisters were on the other side who have done the ride before. And so me and my friend David are just mindlessly throwing our limbs to try to go as fast as we can to do good on this ride, because it's a shooting ride. It's similar to Twister and Mania, but you're using your actual arms. Halfway through, we our forearms were so tired. And I was like, I see why people complain. I do not recommend doing that ride more than once a day. And it was so sore because you don't use the muscles. But my pro tip is use a punching motion, because that's more natural than serving the pizzas. That's what I recommend. Exactly, Tommy. Yes.
Punch them spiders, spider bots, I think, right?
Yes. Yes. Oh, also too, go for the glowing ones more. They're worth more points.
Punch the glows.
But other about my California trip, my last thing I'll say is I got to see my girl Sleeping Beauty, and it was a very special meet and greet. And she didn't know I was in town, and so when I met her, it was just her and I just turned into a 5-year-old kid again. And I gave her a big hug, and we just got to chatting and talking about her winter wear because it was freezing, and she looked so darn cute, and I was just so happy. And I hadn't seen her since the last time I was there 3 years prior, and so it was so good seeing her again. I was like, "Ah!" So, it was a wonderful trip. I was so thankful for it, with Avengers Campus, the parade, Aurora, and just being with good friends. So, always a good
That's
time.
awesome. You know, Disneyland really does their character meet and greets right.
I don't think I talked about this on the first time, but with the Magic Happens parade, I got myself and two other friends, David and Lindsay, to Disney Bound as the Three Good Fairies with me, because not only they're on the front half of Aurora's float, but they're also now on the medallion for Disney's 100th. So it was like a 2-for-1 Disney Bound. No one else was Disney bounding as them. And so we're like, oh, let's go take pictures while our friend is saving our parade spot. We got stopped by characters. We got stopped by Aladdin and Genie, who were just walking around, Merida, Moana, um, and then we had a wonderful magical moment, which I go into more detail on my show. But there was this wonderful photographer that was like, you guys look great. I have a bunch of ideas for you. Follow me. And we're like, okay. And we did like a mini photo shoot around Fantasyland. It was like 10 minutes of her time, and we took great pictures. I'll actually send it to you guys right now, one of the pictures. But
That's wonderful.
it it was, it made my heart so incredibly happy. So, guys, if you guys love characters and you haven't been to Disneyland, Disneyland is literally the best to meet characters.
Say when I went with the former partner in 2019, like we ran into the fairy godmother and she literally, like the fairy godmother literally held her hand and like just chatted with her for a few minutes, walked under the castle. It was incredible. Tristan, what were you saying?
Oh,
Just that I can confirm, I love watching. I'm a big Pirates of the Caribbean fan, so knowing that Red and Jack just walk around and sometimes they pass each other and have a little interaction, I just wish we did something like that here in Florida. But maybe someday.
it
Yeah.
it would be hard. It would be a lot different in Florida, because everybody's on that once in a lifetime trip, and I'd be worried for the character's safety in Florida. They
Yeah.
might get
You
rushed.
know, maybe because like they do, you have to wait in a line for like, you know, Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse and that type of thing. Maybe they can do the random spottings of like the more obscure characters walking around.
Hmm. Yes, that would be interesting. Like, maybe almost like a town hall kind of thing. And, you just got a bunch of random characters in there, and you never know who you're going to get. And it's, you can just go up, but like they probably keep the space within a capacity. So it's not. everybody's safe.
Yeah.
That could be cool.
It's like, great characters that people love but like maybe aren't known as much. Like I know like they've had like the spontaneous meet and greets with like Powerline, Max and Goofy at Hollywood Studios recently,
Yes.
which is pretty cool. But like, if
Yes.
Max was just walking around, like that would be kind of cool cuz like not everyone knows Goofy, but like not everyone has seen the Goofy movie. I'm trying to think of like other obscure characters that like would be cool to see walking around.
Don't worry, Tommy. No one cares. Next topic.
Yeah.
We're gonna shift our attention over to the other coast, over here in Florida. So, Morgan, you went on Cosmic Rewind. Am I right?
Oh, for the very, very, very first time, it made me so happy. My little Marvel heart. I'm like, finally, something Marvel over at Disney World. Mind you, we do have Universal. They have their own Marvel attractions, which are pretty phenomenal. But it was nice to have something here. This coaster was okay. Let's just start with the pre-show. I loved Terry Crews.
Oh
I
my
was I
gosh.
had
Yeah.
I excuse me. I avoided all spoilers leading up
Good
to
for
it,
you.
and it was such a delight to see Terry Crews. He just has such an infectious, like, personality and just so, like, people of Epcot, Terrence of Epcot, or I don't know what he said. He's just, "You're supposed to tell me when I'm recording." Like, oh, it just made my heart so happy and just got me super psyched and, like, put me in the perfect mindset right before the ride started. And that pre-show effect was so cool. Won't spoil
Mhm.
it, but I will say, stay away from the walls. I had some dumb people, they were like, "Please stand away from the walls, stand in the lighted area." Like, they just did not realize that they were talking about them, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, amateurs." Um, and it was just so cool, and then on the coaster, I was really interested with the new ride technology and how it turns and moves towards different things, and I was very curious about how it was done and seeing how they did it with, like, the smaller screens and then the bigger the screens that you're truly like, it really felt like you were in space. Like, I was almost like, if you were to take, like, Space Mountain and Hagrid's Magical Motorbike Creature Adventure at Universal, plus like Rock and Roller Coaster. I feel like that's kind of the vibe I would get from it, and it was just so fun. And I think I said this last time. Like, my favorite part was like circling around the moon. Like, I feel like
The
that's exactly
moon.
this. Yeah, the exact movements of what the ship would actually do in the Guardians universe. So it's such a good coaster. I will say Hagrid's is still my all-time favorite overall, but I think there was a good amount of thrill, a great amount of story. I think you should do it multiple times. I do see how people get a little sick afterwards. I got a little, like, uneasy, needed some water afterwards, but, I really, really enjoyed that coaster, and I thought it was really phenomenal. So, yeah, what are y'all's
Yeah.
thoughts on it?
I love it. I remember my first time on it. I had front row, got September. Even before getting on the
Aw.
ride, I just had the dumbest smile on my face, like in the station. Like I think I was like just like touching the like door, just like, oh my god, this looks so cool. And oh god, it's such an amazing ride. I'm with you that I like Hagrid's a little more, but like it's so cool. Like
Yes,
it's
yes.
very unique. The theming, the story, like you said, with the pre-show and everything, is very cool. I really like how Epcot the story is. Like I think like that.
Yes.
Like some people, I feel like it goes like they're not as into like why are the Guardians at Epcot and why isn't this more of a Guardians movie? I'm like, no, I think the story is perfect for Epcot. It's great.
Peter Quill would have been old enough to go to Epcot because it came around 70s, 80s. Tristan will probably know or can fact check it, but Peter Quill's whole movie is in the 70s. I feel like a bad Marvel
80s
fan.
ish.
80s-ish, yes. So I feel like it would have been perfect time, and you'd be like, "Yeah, I love Epcot. I grew up going to there." Um, what was
Which,
the
sorry,
question you
side
asked?
note, there's a certain part because like there's different parts of the pre-show. Like sometimes you see different parts, but there's like one section where someone is interviewing different Guardians, and if you're there at the right time, she's interviewing Peter Quill, and Peter Quill's like, "Oh yeah, I can't wait to go back on Horizons and see the veggie fruit
Yeah!
fruit." And it's like, well, about that Peter Quill. But what I was gonna ask
Yes!
you, what songs did you get? Do you remember?
Okay. I was able to, since recording, I've gone on it twice. What are the list of songs? I'll be able to tell you.
So they had September. Disco
that one.
Inferno, One Way or Another, I Ran So Far Away, Conga.
World.
Everybody Wants to Rule the World. That's the other one.
Yep, you
Yes,
got it.
yes, I got Conga for my first time, and I was very confused when it started playing and the ride started. I'm like, wait, what's going on? Because I'm used to Guardians Mission Breakout over in California with those like
Yeah.
Guardian songs on it, which is Give Up the Funk,
Mhm.
Jackson 5, a couple others I can't think of off the top of my head.
And then you get
But
Conga.
yeah, and then I'm like, huh?
What a great like that song is so chaotic with Cosmic Rewind. I love it.
It is, and then the second one was, the one that we took a minute
Everybody
to
Wants to
get to.
Rule the World.
Everyone Wants to Rule. That one made more sense.
Yeah.
That one felt
I like
the vibes.
I like that you got the most chaotic song and then the most vibe song. Like in your
Right.
experiences. That's a good balance.
I, actually someone sent me a video today, and it was like, "Oh, when you're just trying to get that last song on Guardians," and it just is like,
Yeah.
it's like the Adam Sandler, like, "Wouldn't it be nice if we
Yeah.
could build a dun-" and I was like, "Oh, yep, when you never get that one
Yep.
last song."
I think it took me 16 rides to get all 6 of them.
Oh my lord.
Yeah.
Oh my lord. I feel like it'd be much easier to do Guardians Mission Breakout and get all those songs at the 5 or 6 songs. I feel like
Yeah.
they're just more repeatable. I don't know.
All right, I did my fact checking. Peter Quill, born in 1980. So he
Okay.
could have done it.
Oh,
He
Yeah.
could have done
Because
it.
Epcot opened in 1982, so he was there like as a toddler.
Yeah, he would have been a toddler. His mom dies in 1988.
Okay.
okay.
Okay, or a young
Um,
child.
But that's when he goes with the Ravengers. That's when he goes with Yondu, when he's 8
Mhm.
years old. So he would only have
Okay.
up until 8 years old to go to Epcot.
Okay.
Okay. I think
If
8's
I
a
did
good
my
time
math right.
enough, old
Yeah.
enough to remember those
Yeah.
memories, you
You
know?
Yeah.
definitely still have
Okay.
fond memories. Yeah.
So this storyline it checks out. Good job, Disney. Thank you,
Mhm.
Tristan, for checking that.
Yeah.
I also too one last thing is I love at the very end what Drax says. Tommy, I think you know it word for word. Will you repeat it?
So there's actually 2 different versions of it, but
Oh,
I think yeah, and the one that I prefer because there's one where at the end they all go welcome to the Guardians of the Galaxy, but then there's one where I think it's like they all welcome you to the Guardians of the Galaxy. Drax is like, we have no more room on our ship. Drax,
yeah.
it's like an expression. Ah, I see. It's meaningless. Well, welcome to the Guardians of the Galaxy. Now where's my cake
Yes,
toast?
that is my favorite. He
Yeah,
just is so
Drax is
literal.
great on the ride.
Oh, same with at the very end. I think he has the last say at Mission Breakout too. He's like, "Why are you thanking them? We did all the work. Like they did nothing. They just sat there." And I'm like, "True, true, true."
Yeah. Or like I think one of the endings, it's like, can you really call them heroes? Do you see how they're dressed?
Fine, I'll come in full cosplay next time. Perfect.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
Oh
Oh,
man,
such a good time.
yeah, Cosmic Rewind, man, what a treat! I'm so glad that we got that over here because that's amazing. Epcot needed
too.
it. Epcot needed a big coaster. So man, I've only ridden it like 3 times. I got to get back over there.
Oh.
I know. Anywho, we'll move on to our next segment here, and this is one of my favorites. It's the Passholder Karen of the week.
Woo!
Oh yeah.
This is brilliant. I
We
love this.
love.
This is so creative, you two.
We love the Karen. So this first one's actually for Universal, and I'll have to censor it a little bit by skipping some words, but I'll just dive right in.
Oh, wait, use the
Mhm.
good place bad words.
What
Like
was it? What's the A
fork,
word?
Ash.
Ash?
ash hole.
Ash
Yeah.
hole? Okay. If
Yeah.
if there's a hole, I'll say that, but I think it's just ash in this case.
Yeah, ash,
Ash. Fork.
fork. Oh, short. Yeah, shirt.
Shirt. Okay.
Shirt. Are you ready? Good. I think
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
funny way of
Gold
getting
shirt.
around it. Put a disclaimer that you're saying all the bad words are from the good place.
Right.
Fully forking shirt balls.
Yes.
All right. So anyway, yeah, I will include all of the profanity in this. I think it's a Yelp review with words from the good place. All right. Got trespassed for disorderly conduct after first haunted house, literally in the park 5 minutes, for yelling back at a scare actor and supposedly grabbing another. I said there is nothing that says you can't yell back at them and demanded to see video of me grabbing someone, which I didn't do. Nope. Refused to show me video and kicked me out. Started researching and found out their security people kick out lots of people. Tens of thousands every year for doing nothing. Bunch of whiny ash kids working there with their power trip. I'm freaking 56 years old and I'm not dumb enough to grab anyone, but they listen to their whiny ash self-entitled scare actors. You won't see me spending my money at any Universal park anymore, and I will be spreading the word about their overly sensitive whiny ash employees. Don't waste your money.
Sounds like a pleasant person. I'm so sorry that he got trespassed.
Yeah, I'm not. What kind of
I got
56-year-old does this?
trespassed.
No.
That's not proper English, sir.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, Yoda. I have such a defense for those cast members because they are exerting so much energy for hours on end, late into the night. Who knows if they have, normal daytime jobs too. And, I mentioned this before, but I was talking to someone who she was a female and she used to be a scare actor, and she used to get grabbed, harassed, yelled at, and the security wasn't as tight as they are back then, and since then they finally put cameras in to protect the scare actors and whatnot. And I think that that's a wonderful thing because people are drunk, they don't know what's going on, it is scary. Like, of course you're gonna have big
Yeah.
reactions, but it should never be to swing at
Yeah.
somebody or injure somebody else. You know what you signed up for when you go there, and they are doing a great job.
Yeah.
So
I feel like you actually like need to try to be trespassed. Like they don't just trespass anyone.
right,
Like I don't know where
tens of
he's getting.
thousands for no reason.
That's not a thing. No, no, no. It's like I feel like because it's Universal, they could potentially be a little bit spicier than like Disney employees, but like they're not going to trespass you like unless you're being a total jerk. And him like saying, "Oh, they're just going to kick people out for no reason." I got to confess, guys. One of my many nights at Horror Nights this past year, I was a bad guest. So for those who went to Horror Nights, the Weekend House and the Universal Monsters House exited in the same pathway, and that pathway was literally right next to the queue line for Universal Monsters as well. And even though I had done that house already and was going to do it many other times, when I was leaving the Weekend House and it was like almost 2 a.m., there was absolutely no line going into the Universal Monsters house. It was very tempting to just go underneath the rope to go into the house. I'm like, there's no line. Might as well just try to sneak in one last house before I go home. I went underneath the rope, and immediately someone saw me and was like, I saw you go under that rope, and now you can go back under. Have a good night. And I'm like, if I would have fought with him, I probably would have been trespassed. But I was like, you're right. I was the asshole. I should not have done that. Otherwise, everyone else is going to be doing this. That's leaving the exit. That was not cool of me. So they're not just trespassing people to trespass people. You had to have tried.
And then also too, now thinking about it more, like he probably was giving that cast member grief, the one he was probably talking
Yeah.
to, which probably instigated the got trespassed thing. So probably, like you said, probably did it to himself.
Yeah, no, because they really do, like, especially in like these low wage jobs, they really try to give guesties as much benefit of the doubt as they can. So they only kick people out unless they really need to. Like, I have a friend that's a manager at Disney World, and sometime during the mask rules, there was a party that was being real jerks about the mask rules back when that was a big thing. And they eventually had to like follow this party around the park with security, with managers from other places. They were finally able to talk to this party, and other people in the party were very apologetic. And the one stubborn person in the party was like kind of being a jerk, and like they almost got off with a warning until the stubborn person was about to instigate more fighting. It's like, okay, nope, you're out of the park today. So you need to, like I've been saying, you need to try to get kicked out.
Disney and Universal are private properties. You follow their rules.
Yeah.
There are animals out there, man. But we got another animal here. This one's from
Got another
Disney.
one.
This is Hollywood Studios. This one's short and sweet, but there's a cherry on top at the end, and that's what makes it funny. So I'll read it here. The workers at the ticket scanning area was obnoxiously rude to my daughter. Overall good experience though, except I would like to be greeted by a pleasant human when I arrive. However, that was not the case. Before I get to the cherry on top, I do want to say I only pull 1-star reviews. So this person left a 1-star review. They said overall good experience, except for this one thing, and that brought it down to a 1 star. Come on. What are you doing? All right, so the cherry on top. I read this thing, right? I was like, that's weird. Why did they leave a 1-star review? And then I look and they included a photo of a bush in Toy Story Land. What is that? Why? Why'd you take that picture? How did it end up in your Yelp review? That's no accident. You put that there. So I thought it was funny, man. These people.
I love people. The intelligence of some of these tourists are absolutely phenomenal.
That just sounds like an AI generated review. Like a random picture.
On that positive, funny note, that's our show. We want to thank Morgan for coming in and joining us. For those who don't know, we actually tried to record this sucker a week ago. Technical difficulties happen. It happens to all podcasters at some point in time. And it finally struck the Please Remain Seated show. But
we had a good run.
But hey, we were thrilled to come back and do it again because we had so much fun with Morgan. We do want to definitely send you over to Morgan's show because at the time you're listening to this, we will be on one of the most recent episodes, Tommy and I, Just Some Magic. Morgan, once again, if you want to tell anyone about your show, go for it.
Yes, like I said, Just Some Magic is sharing people's most magical moments, and Tommy and Tristan both had great ones, so you should definitely listen to those. Also, we're always looking for more magical moments. It doesn't have to be the most extravagant thing. It could be something that means personal to you, but my goal for my podcast is to give people a platform to share those incredible experiences that your friends on Facebook might not necessarily appreciate compared to like a Disney fan like us, who we love hearing those stories. We love hearing those unique experiences, and whether you're young or old or go with kids or go by yourself, like there's always so much fun to be had. And it's not just Disney, it's all theme parks. So I would love for more stories and also to come listen. So yeah, but thank you guys so much for having me. It's literally been so much fun. And yes, we had technical difficulties, but I was like, I get to talk to them again, so I did not mind one bit. And so hopefully I'll have you guys back on my show again too.
Honestly, I would love to. No, I had that same thought. I'm like, oh darn, I have to talk with her again. Like, I'm very glad we were able to do this again. And
There's a reason you guys avoided each other in high school.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
We didn't know we existed. Like we said, there was 500 kids per graduating class. Okay, but Disney brought us together. That's what I like to say.
And with Tristan's beautiful mug.
My mug. Okay. Well, Tommy, is there anything else you want to add?
Aside from harassing you and how pretty you are, no.
Okay. Well, follow us on all the social medias and all that stuff. We're going to leave links to Morgan's show in the show notes so you can check that out directly. And follow us on everything. We got the Instagrams, the Twitters, the YouTubes, the Facebooks. Yeah, that's it. Please remain seated.